All right, everybody, how we doing? Glad you guys are watching this. Wish we could be in class together. Hopefully, y'all doing well, doing this e-learning thing. I'm going to be posting these notes, videos on Google Classroom, and that way you guys can watch, rewind, go back, pause, all sorts of stuff as I'm doing example problems. So you guys understand how to do the work. And actually, if we end up having a quiz or a test using these, you can actually watch these videos as you're taking the quiz or the test. So, pretty cool thing. All right, section 10.1, circles and circumference. It's a lot of things you guys have done in the past. Hopefully this is review in today's lesson. So, let's check it out. All right, a circle. Here we go. Is a locus or set of all points in a plane equidistant from a given point called the center. So there's my center. Obviously not a perfect circle, but if I draw my lines, all of these lines are going to be the same distance. And yep, you guessed it, we all know that's called the radius. And here's our vocab. Okay, so radius, our first word here, over here to your left. It's a segment with endpoints at the center and on the circle. So CE would be a radius, CF would be a radius, CD would be a radius. Okay? Next thing we have is a chord. This is something maybe you guys haven't studied in the past. A chord is a segment with endpoints on the circle. So AB is an example of a chord. Also DE, endpoints on the circle. And then, last but not least here, we have diameter. It's a chord which passes through the center, and it's made up of the radii. So DC and CE are the two radii there. DE is the chord, and that's our diameter. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do a couple problems. Not problems, but labeling pictures. So we're going to label our first picture. How do we name a circle? Well, let's look back up here. If you guys notice right here, there's a circle with a dot, and that's called circle C. Okay? So what are we going to call this one? We're going to call this one circle P. Okay? The symbol for circle is the circle with the dot, and then we put the letter P. All right, next we have the radius. In this case, we can have LP. We're going to list all of them. We can have PN, or we can have PM. Okay, chord. Okay, our chord, we have two chords. We have MN. It's a line that touches both edges of the circle. So MN. And then we have also LN is a chord. It's a line that touches both edges of a circle. Lastly, we have diameter. Our diameter here is LN. I left it colored in because it's a chord that goes through the center, it goes through P. It's made up of two radii, right? It's made up of LP and PN. All right, let's do one more picture. Okay, name this circle. If you want to think about it on your own and name it, as you're waiting for me, you can. This is known as circle E. E is in the center. Let's name a radius. I'm just going to pick the most obvious one to me, EF. There's two other ones you could name. Sorry, trying to get my line there over the EF. My chord is JK. There's another chord here I can name, but I'm not going to name it. And then I can name a diameter, which will be HG. On the quiz or test, all you have to do is name one of each. You don't have to name all of them. Unless I say to name all of them, but normally you don't have to. Great, this next one you guys can practice on. I'm not sure if it's on the slides I gave you, but if you want to practice on that one, you can. Here's another example problem we can think about. Let's look at TU. TU is 14 feet. What is the radius of the circle? Well, I know both of these are congruent, right? All lines that touch the center are congruent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take 14 divided by 2 to get it, and the radius is 7 feet. 7 plus 7 is 14. 7 and 7. Okay, let's look at the other example, going the other way. If QT is 11, what's QU? Well, we know these are the same, they're congruent. If the top one's 11, we know the bottom one's 11. Okay, so we can say that QU equals 11 meters. Okay, hopefully you guys know how to do that. Hopefully this is review. This next thing is probably review as well. It is circumference of a circle. It is the distance around a circle, right? So if I had a line, and I took this line and I moved it that way, and I curled it up, I would make a circle. Let's say the length of this was 5 centimeters, the length of that line, and I curled it into a circle, we would say that the circumference equals 5 centimeters. It's the distance around, right? So if I cut this, I don't know if this will work. Oh, it erased the whole thing. Anyways, there's my circle. So the distance of a line is 5. If I take that line and curl it into a circle, it's also 5. That's circumference. By definition, the ratio is an irrational number called pi. So, you guys know pi. And here's our formula. We can either use circumference equals pi d or circumference equals 2 pi r. They're the same formula, just two different ways to write it. So we're going to practice with it. Let's write out our equation, pi d. I'm not even going to read all the stuff about Roger Federer and Andre Agassi. It is cool they are on this helipad here playing tennis, 700 feet high. I would kind of be scared of heights, but anyhow. Okay, diameter is 79 feet. So all I do is plug in 79 for d. I'm going to get out my calculator. You can use your phone if you want, not a problem. And I'm going to do 79 times pi. I'm going to use the pi key equals, we're going to do the nearest hundredth, that's how most of these problems are, equals, I didn't leave enough room there, I'm just going to write the answer down below, 248.19 feet. Okay? Sorry about that. I didn't write 79 in there. Pi times 79. And I'm going to get 249.19 feet. Hopefully pretty simple there. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. I'm going to try to find the circumference here. Okay. The largest of the three circles. I don't know what circle they're talking about. We'll just say this one right here. I'm trying to find the circumference. It has a radius, that's the radius right there, of 30. Find the circumference. Well, we can do this, pi d, but am I given the diameter? No, I'm actually given the radius. Okay? I can do two things. I can use circumference equals 2 pi r, I can plug in 30 for r. Well, what do you notice? 30 times 2 is the diameter, right? Which is 60. So I could also do pi times 60. So either way, I'm going to type it in my calculator, and I'm going to get 188.50 feet. Okay, so you can do 2 pi times 30 or pi times 60. I wrote it over there. Okay, now we got to do some algebra. Find the diameter and radius of a circle to the nearest hundredth if the circumference of the circle is 65.4. So I'm always going to write out my equation. We're always going to start with this equation. Okay, I'm going to plug in 65.4 for C equals pi d. Remember, pi is a number. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. And in my calculator, those cancel as we know. I'm going to do 65.4 divided by pi, and I'm going to get 20.82 as my diameter. How do I find my radius? The radius equals diameter divided by 2. So all I do is 20.82 divided by 2, and I'm going to get 10.41. So my radius is 10.41. My diameter is 20.82. We'll do one more of these. Okay, so we're going to start out with circumference equals pi d. 77.8 is the circumference, equals pi d. Divide both sides by pi. $77.8 in my calculator divided by pi, remember you use the pi key, equals 24.76. Now I just take half of that, or if you like to use this equation over here, radius equals diameter over 2, 24.76 divided by 2, radius equals 12.38. And those are my two answers. Sorry, my R is kind of sloppy down there. There's one more problem here. It's the same thing. If you want to practice on your own, go ahead. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, please email me. We could do some Google Meets on video. If you guys want to talk in person, if you want to go over some problems, anything I can do to help you, please let me know. Hopefully we see each other soon. I miss you all, and we'll talk to you later.